Checking the sound, 1, 2, 3, in the red room ahead of pre-stated. Sound check. Yeah, we should. Okay, checking the sound. You have the sound? Okay, great, thank you. All right, bye. Hey, Lindsay, I hope you can hear me. We did sound check. I think it's working. Megan's giving me the thumbs up, so yay. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, she texted me that they're testing closed captioning. Can you hear me? Hello? Yes. Okay, she heard me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it works.
Clear. All right, I'll turn this off now. Oh, do you want to try it on yours just to see?
Yeah.
How clear do I sound right now?
You sound good.
All right, I'll turn it off.
7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Usually 1 to 1:30.
Okay.
Yeah. Wait, so when is it? Okay, nice. I was worried you would leave like December.
All good. Okay. Thanks.
just walked in too. Somebody bury him.
I think Mercedes is roasting Jeff Colton. I think that's
Is this Jeff Colton roasting day? I'm in.
the roast of Jeff Colton.
The roast of Jeff Colton, I'm in.
What you have to start out with is that he has all of his buttons buttoned, and so you don't recognize him.
He's an executive now. Congratulations, Jeff.
And she's a journalist, so he's probably like the.
What's that?
He didn't know.
I didn't. Why would I know?
All right.
Source. You gotta keep it.
We're going to jump in. Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to dive right into our stated agenda. First, we'll vote on the following land use items. 5502 Flatlands Avenue rezoning will facilitate the development of a new 5-story mixed-use building in Councilmember Narcise's district. The council is modifying this application from an R6A district to an R6B district and requiring MIH option 3 for deep affordability. 699-703 Lexington Avenue rezoning will facilitate the development of a new 6-story building in Councilmember Osei's district that will provide approximately 85 transitional shelter units and community facility office space for Providence House. The council is modifying the application to strike MIH option 2 and add MIH option 3. 1551 Broadway. MID signage text amendment and special permit will modify signage regulations for small lots in the theater district and Councilmember Bottcher's district in order to facilitate the replacement of 3 existing signs at the corner of West 46th Street and Broadway. NYC Health and Hospitals, Lincoln, an application to approve a ground lease for an existing 3-story building to facilitate the development of a community center run by New York City Health and Hospitals and Deputy Speaker Ayala's district. Praise Tabernacle will facilitate the conveyance of a small HPD-owned lot to Praise Tabernacle Church, a long overdue project in my own district. Landmark designations of 5 properties in Manhattan's Garment District located within the districts of Council Members Bottcher and Powers. Barbie Building, 29th Street Towers, Fashion Tower, Furcraft Building, and Left Court Clothing Center. Next, we will vote on the following finance item. A pre-considered resolution sponsored by Councilmember Justin Brannan approving the new designation and changes in the designation of certain organizations to receive funding in the expense budget. Next, the council will vote to disapprove the following mayoral appointments: Dr. Mitchell Katz to the New York City Board of Health and Dr. David Choksey to the New York City Board of Health. Next, we'll vote on the following resolutions. Resolution 889, sponsored by Councilmember Julie Menin, would declare New York City's commitment to affirm and defend continued access for reproductive rights. Resolution 1049, sponsored by Councilmember Purina Sanchez, calls on the United States Congress to introduce and pass, and the President to sign legislation to incorporate mental wellness training within OSHA 10 and OSHA 30 training. Resolution 736, sponsored by Councilmember Tiffany Caban, calls on the New York State Legislature to introduce and pass, and the Governor to sign, legislation to increase funding for assertive community treatment teams. Resolution 106A, sponsored by Councilmember Crystal Hudson, calls on the New York State Legislature to pass and the Governor to sign S3563, A2367, to expand eligibility for the DREE program to additional qualifying household members. Resolution 985, sponsored by myself, calls on the New York State Assembly to pass and the Governor to sign S2534, A7851, which retroactively freezes the rent at which a SCREE or DREE enrollee pays at the level it was when they first became eligible. And Resolution 850, sponsored by Councilmember Crystal Hudson, calls on the United States Congress to pass and the President to sign legislation that would expand Medicare to include long-term services and supports for seniors and individuals with disabilities. Today, we'll vote on the following legislation. Introduction. 163A, sponsored by Councilmember Eric Dinowitz, would require the mayor to establish accessibility guidelines for printed documents created by an agency. I invite Councilmember Dinowitz to the podium to discuss his legislation.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Good afternoon. We live in a really great city with, I'd say, a really great government, great city council that sends out a lot of information. We have a lot of forms about all the wonderful programs and events that we do in the city. And we say that these events and these forms are for New Yorkers. But too often, we don't mean all New Yorkers. Too often, New Yorkers with disabilities are left out of the conversation. And so today we're voting on my bill, Intro 163, which would require New York City to come up with official guidelines for print documents and require agencies to make those documents available. Critical materials like benefits applications, housing notices, school updates, safety information are too often printed in fonts that are too small, or the layouts are cluttered, or language is overly dense. Even things we don't all think about, like serifs and contrast of colors, are things that for whom if you have a visual impairment, it makes it hard to read. And imagine being a person with a visual impairment and getting information in the mail about fire safety, right? In a city which is seeing so many apartments go up in flames, this critical information, only to look down at it and see the font is too small, the font has serifs, you're unable to read it. This is a reality for too many New Yorkers with disabilities and older adults. When government documents aren't accessible, people miss deadlines, they can lose benefits, and fail to receive the services to which they're entitled. I want to thank Chair of the Mental Health, Disabilities, and Addiction Committee, Linda Lee, for her support and her co-sponsorship, and for holding the hearing and voting on it this morning. The Mayor's Office for People with Disability, who testified not only in strong support of this legislation to provide print documents that are accessible, but really provided enhancements and improvements to our original legislation. And of course to Speaker Adams for bringing this legislation to a vote. This is a major win for all New Yorkers, including those with disabilities and older adults. Because accessibility is not a luxury, it is a mandate. And as a city, we must not create unnecessary barriers to vital services and resources that our residents depend on. Thank you.
Thank you. Introduction 1004A, sponsored by Councilmember Mercedes Narcisse, would require the Mayor's Office for People with Disabilities to publish on its website a list of wheelchair repair providers. I invite Councilmember Narcisse to discuss her bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you to my colleagues. Today, the Council is voting in Intro 1004A, a bill that addresses a barrier faced by New Yorkers who relied on wheelchairs. When a wheelchair breaks, it isn't a small inconvenience. It can mean missing work, missing school, missing medical appointments, or being unable to leave your home. Too many people are left searching for repair providers with no clear information and no reliable place to turn. This legislation changes just that. Intro 1004A requires the Mayor's Office for People with Disabilities to maintain a clear, accessible, citywide list of wheelchair repair providers, including contact information, hours, insurance accepted, and ways to connect with services that can help people locate a repair place. It is simply tools, but one that can prevent days of delay and unnecessary hardship. You know, some folks may say, I don't need this supplies. When I used to have a medical DME, I used to tell my staff, chalk that people need, the blue chalk, is very important to the person that uses it. A diaper is very important. The wheelchair is part of that person's life. It's just like their legs. I take this issue personally. Before I became a council member, I owned and operated a DME business and sold wheelchairs. I saw firsthand how a broken part can disrupt a person's entire life, and how families often struggle to find help quickly. This bill is about giving people a straightforward information so they can stay mobile, safe, and independent. I want to thank my Madam Speaker, thank you, my co-sponsor, and the chair, Linda Lee, for allowing me to present that bill. It's so important. People depend on it. Like sometimes we say, your life depends on it. Their life depends on that wheelchair. And I want to say thank you to all my colleagues. I look forward to vote aye on this because it's so important for us to do the right thing by the disabled world. And I can be in agreement the first time ever with my colleagues, Eric, the nurse. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councilmember. Introduction 1235A, sponsored by Councilmember Gail Brewer, would require the Department of Records and Information Services to create and maintain a centralized portal for Freedom of Information law requests. I invite Councilmember Brewer, she's already here, to the podium to discuss her important legislation today.
This is named after Jeff Colton, this legislation. Anyway, I'm really honored to have this as a piece of legislation. It's been a while. 1235A, it is the Freedom of Information request issue. People who file FOILs can wait months, sometimes years, for city agencies to provide the records requested, and depends on the agency. Some respond and some do not. The mayor's office not too good. This is also a single citywide portal to submit and track FOIL records. That's what's going to be part of this bill. I do want to thank Pauline Toole, who's my friend, and the commissioner of Doris, and they have a portal, but it needs to be codified and it needs support. This bill will mandate the users see every step of their request as it happens: acknowledgement, deadlines, extensions, decisions, appeals, and record releases. It makes all released records searchable and publicly available. It requires the City of New York to create performance standards and publish statistics on FOIL requests, and many other provisions to make FOIL simpler, more transparent, and more accessible. I want to thank Rachel Faust from Reinvent Albany. I want to thank Irene Bukowski, Audrey Sun, and Brad Reed from the City Council Legislative Division. And I want to thank Sam Goldsmith from my office and the 33 co-sponsors. And I'm sure that many people who file FOILs will be very pleased that this bill will go into effect. Certainly want to thank Councilmember Gutierrez and the Speaker. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank Jeff.
What me about this bill?
Introduction 1075A, sponsored by Majority Leader Amanda Farias, would require borough presidents, in consultation with the Civic Engagement Commission and DCAS, to develop training materials on the legislative process and rules of parliamentary procedure. I invite Majority Leader Farias to discuss her legislation.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Every month in New York City, long before an issue reaches the council chambers, the leadership and members of our community boards, precinct councils, business improvement districts, and community education councils gather with the public in meeting rooms across the 5 boroughs. These meetings bring together residents, parents, small business owners, local volunteers, and longtime community members who show up to raise concerns, ask questions, and discuss important matters about their district. These meetings are the earliest, most immediate point of contact between the public and the systems that govern their lives. They are where emerging issues are first raised, where neighborhood needs surface, and where our community members seek clarity, direction, and support. But for all the responsibility these bodies carry, and for all the expectations placed on the people who sit in those seats, there is something critically important missing. They are tasked with navigating the complex processes of New York City government and governance without any unified training on how these processes actually work, what influence they have in that room, and how critical they are in the decision-making. There is no standard citywide instruction on how the legislative process unfolds in New York City, what happens before a bill is introduced, when hearings occur, what testimony can be heard, how amendments are made, or when decisions become final. There's no shared foundation in parliamentary procedure. The rules that determine how a meeting is structured, how debate is recognized, how motions are made, and how decisions are recorded. And there's no consistent guidance on how public participation fits into these processes. These civic bodies have the potential to organize and engage constituents early to maximize the impact and influence they have on legislation advancing in the City Council. But while some organized boards are operating with structure and clarity, others rely on improvised rules or inherited habits, which can be forgotten and lost when district leaders of community boards retire or resign. Moreover, New Yorkers who go on to these meetings and want to be informed are all walking away from these meetings with different levels of understanding, depending on where they live. As it currently stands, this inconsistency does not reflect the vital role civic bodies play in our legislative process. This must change if we are here and going to have our civic bodies function in the most robust manner possible, to ensure that civic participation in our democracy is vigorous and that our civic institutions function as they were intended to function, as influential bodies that make the people's voices and concerns heard by the city's government. My bill, Intro 1075, is the Civic Education and Engagement Act, and it establishes the first uniform training standard of the bodies that promote civic participation in New York City. It ensures that community boards, precinct community councils, business improvement districts, and community district education councils all receive the same accurate, procedural, and accessible instruction regardless of borough or district. Under this bill, borough presidents, in consultation with the Civic Engagement Commission, will develop standardized training materials for community boards. These materials will explain how the legislative process unfolds, when community input can shape outcomes, and how parliamentary procedure ensures meetings remain fair, orderly, and consistent. For PCCs, bids, and CECs, the mayor will designate the agencies responsible for distributing those materials and delivering the training. This will create a clear chain of responsibility for the bodies that handle public safety, local commerce, and district-level issues. Beginning in 2026, this training will be delivered every year. New members will begin their service with a shared foundation. Returning members will strengthen their understanding with annual refreshers. And residents across the city will benefit from civic bodies that operate with the same standards of clarity, transparency, and structure. In my own district, I have had to intervene with support, guidance, and resources to help a civic body that underwent severe administrative and operational turbulence because members were left to interpret complex responsibilities without consistent guidance. A preventable procedural gap created confusion, fear, and instability, and it threatened to leave an entire community without a functioning civic institution. That is exactly the kind of disruption the Civic Engagement and Education Act is designed to address, because when a board loses its footing, it is not the bylaws that suffer, it is the neighborhood and community. Small businesses lose support, local services become uncertain, residents lose a forum where their concerns can be heard. And that gap in both the trust and dialogue between the community and government grows wider. We ask these boards and councils to manage an enormous responsibility without giving them the tools, training, or structure they need to make informed decisions in real time. Uniform training is how we prevent civic bodies across the city from finding themselves in situations where unclear legal obligations, procedural confusion, or misaligned expectations put their entire operation at risk. That is the standard our neighborhoods and communities deserve, and that is the level of consistency our civic infrastructure should provide. I'm proud to advance this piece of legislation and want to thank both the committee chair and the speaker for ensuring that we give the benefits that New Yorkers deserve: clarity, consistency, and stability that this legislation provides. Thank you.
As I said earlier, when I was borough president, I did all that shit.
So we're replicating what Gail has done for years, and actually Antonio Reynoso as well.
And Adrienne Adams as well, former chairman. Just saying, just saying. Just saying, years ago. Thank you, that bill is so needed.
Yes.
Majority Leader.
No cursing.
My goodness. Introduction 441A, sponsored by Councilmember Althea Stevens, no cursing, would require the New York City Department of Education to provide voter registration forms and materials on voting methods and accessibility options to improve young adults' access to voter registration materials. Another fantastic bill. I invite Councilmember Stevens to the podium to discuss her important legislation.
Listen, I'm talking about kids. I might need to curse, be excited about these children. I know. Good afternoon, everybody. How's everybody doing?
Listen a lot.
Splendid.
That's right. Thank you, Madam Speaker, for continuing to lead and support legislation in our city to improve the lives of our communities across all boroughs. Today, we vote on the passage of Introduction 441A, the Young Adult Voter Registration Act. We made a commitment to the future of our democracy, a commitment to our young people, and a commitment to access and equality and a voice. This law requires that the Department of Education to automatically provide every high school senior with a code for voter registration form, voting information, and accessibility material, not just at graduation, but throughout the school year. It's to ensure that no young person is left on the sidelines to simply because they weren't given the tools to participate. Those of you who know me, I worked in youth development for 20 years, and one of the first conversations that even sparked the idea of me running was with young people who said no one ever asked them to vote. They said no one ever knocked on their door, no one ever asked them to register, and I remember looking in their eyes and saying, I'm the person who's asking you to vote. And this legislation is saying it even louder. I am asking young people to vote and be a part of the process. This may not be the kind of legislation that trends on social media. It won't go viral, but it will change the outcomes. It will change the turnouts at the polls. It will encourage our city to change. Because when we register a young person to vote, we're just not handing them the form. We're handing them a voice. For too long, our young people, especially Black and brown youth, have been told expected not to be part of the civil participation. The government is something that is done to them, but not for them. Today, we disrupt that narrative. Intro 441A makes voter registration the norm, not the expectation. It makes civic education accessible, not an option. It makes our democracy stronger, more inclusive, and more reflective of the city that we served. To our schools, prepare our young people to lead. To our families, talk about voting at home. To our young people, I don't want you to be invited into politics. I want you to step boldly and unapologetically into politics. As we've seen from this last election, young people are hungry to be a part of these conversations, and legislation like this will continue to push that narrative forward. I want to thank my colleagues for understanding why this matters, for seeing value in strengthening the system that often go unseen, and for standing with the communities in a meaningful way. To the advocates and agencies and everyday New Yorkers who speak up, thank you. Your voice shaped this bill. Your experience reminds us of why policy is not just about paperwork, it's about living in reality. Intro 441 might not make the front page, but it will make a difference. And for that, at the end of the day, it's the headline that matters the most to me. Thank you all.
Excellent. Thank you. Introduction 1216A, sponsored by Councilmember Linda Lee, would require the Office to End Gender-Based Violence to provide hair, nail, and skincare salons with posters containing information about gender-based violence solutions available in the city. I invite Councilmember Lee to the podium to discuss her bill.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. So the facts are very clear. There is a hidden epidemic of domestic and gender-based violence in our country. And the CDC estimates that about 1 in 5 women in the U.S. experience severe intimate partner violence in their lifetimes, with their assaults often going unreported to the police. This legislation will require the mayor's office to end domestic and gender-based violence to make available at no cost posters about recognizing gender-based violence to nail, hair, and beauty salons and other cosmetology establishments across the city. These posters would include information about services available in the city, including but not limited to the free hotline services that are available. And my favorite part about this bill is that it came directly from the community. And oftentimes I feel like the community has the best legislation possible because they see what the issues are, what the barriers are on the ground. And as a social worker that's been in nonprofit for 20 years before this, we worked with a lot of communities that had very culturally, linguistically specific needs. And our hope is that someone, when they walk into the places where they naturally go to anyways, if they're struggling or suffering with an issue around gender-based violence or domestic violence, that they will see these and they will reach out to one of the many groups that offer these services with dignity, and that they will come forward. So thank you so much. Thank you so much to our speaker for putting this bill in the docket. We really are appreciative.
Thank you. Introduction 691A, sponsored by Councilmember Farrell Lewis, would require the DOE to solicit feedback from high school students about their experiences with STEM education and report on the offerings and enrollment of STEM classes. Introduction 828A, also sponsored by Councilmember Lewis, would require DCAS to provide promotional materials to CUNY students and recent graduates relating to careers in civil service and instructions on how to apply. And Introduction 829A, also sponsored by Councilmember Lewis, would require DCAS to create an advertising campaign to promote civil service examinations. I invite Councilmember Lewis to the podium to discuss all of her legislation.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Speaker Adams, for the opportunity. New York City stands as the undisputed capital of opportunity, innovation, and diversity. Yet, for too long, many of our residents, particularly women and girls, pathways to meaningful career opportunities in both civil service and STEM fields remain unclear, underutilized, and unnecessarily complex. Introduction 691 assesses and reports on racial and gender disparities in STEM, education participation, data-driven approach to identity barriers, measure success, and implement targeted interventions where they're needed most. The reality is that women comprise only of 28% of the global STEM workforce. Too many talented students and graduates, especially women of color, do not know how to access civil service positions, or due to their gender and race, are snubbed out of opportunities that await their brilliance and talent. The demand for workers in both civil service and STEM continues to grow, but we cannot build the future with only half of the workforce. Introductions 828 and 829 transform how we connect our city's public university system, CUNY, with our city's greatest employer, New York City government itself. These bills create bridges. They connect talent with opportunity and ensure that the next generation of public servants and STEM professionals look like the city they serve. This issue is about economic mobility for women working their way through college, representation that strengthens our industry's abilities to serve all communities, and equity to level the playing field and close the gaps that have held women back for far too long. New York City is the capital of ambition, the capital of possibility, the capital where dreams become reality. As a majority women city council, we are taking the helm of gender equity, ensuring that the American dream of stable and meaningful employment is accessible to everyone who dares to pursue it. These bills invest in the resource, cultivating the next generation of who will shape our city's future. Thank you.
Thank you. Introduction 1241A, sponsored by Councilmember Sandy Nurse, would require the Department of Correction to produce a biannual report on the 6A work release program, disaggregated by relevant demographic characteristics. Councilmember Nurse could not join us today, but we do thank her for her work on this legislation. Introduction 199A, sponsored by Councilmember Jennifer Gutierrez, would establish an Office of Algorithmic Accountability. And Introduction 1024A, also sponsored by Councilmember Gutierrez, would require this office to publish a list of all AI systems for which it has conducted a pre-deployment assessment. Okay, we thank Councilmember Gutierrez for her important legislation today. Introduction 926A, sponsored by Councilmember Julie Menin, would require the Office of Algorithmic Accountability to establish basic compliance standards when developing, procuring, deploying, and using public impacting artificial intelligence. I invite Councilmember Menin to the podium to discuss her important bill.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, and thank you for advancing this whole package of legislation based on AI. I know Councilmember Gutierrez couldn't be here today, but it's really a package of legislation that is focused on responsible use. We, of course, don't want to thwart the use of AI. We just want to put responsible guardrails on it. Currently, the Department of Education, the Department of Buildings are utilizing AI. Other agencies are as well. So the point of this bill package, and my bill in particular, requires fairness, safeguards privacy, and increases transparency in the use of AI at city agencies. And it complements Councilmember Gutierrez's GUARD Act, which creates, as the Speaker said, the Office of Algorithmic Accountability, which is a mouthful, but is so incredibly important to finally once and for all ensure that when the city agencies are utilizing AI, that they're utilizing it in a transparent, accountable, and fair way. So thank you so much to the Speaker.
Thank you. Introduction 1049A, sponsored by Majority Whip Sylvina Brooks Powers, would require the sellers of petroleum products for use in motor vehicles or motorboats to disclose pre-authorization holds. And Introduction 1297A, also sponsored by Majority Whip Brooks Powers, would create a civil cause of action for crimes of violence motivated by gender that occurred prior to January 9, 2022. It would allow such claims against any party who committed, directed, enabled, participated, or conspired in the commission of a crime of violence violence motivated by gender to bring a civil claim against that party. Claims under this law must commence within 18 months of the effective date of the local law. Any person who brought a claim between March 1st, 2023 and March 1st, 2025 that meets the requirements of a cause of action under this law may amend or refile their claim to add a cause of action under this section. I invite Majority Whip Brooks Powers to the podium to discuss her legislation.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us. Today, the City Council is advancing two pieces of legislation that reflect our responsibility to protect New Yorkers from harm. Whether that harm comes from powerful institutions or from systems that quietly drain money from working families. First, Intro 1297, this bill reopens and clarifies the Gender Motivated Violence Act so that survivors, many of whom were abused in city-run facilities or by Jeffrey Epstein, do not lose their cases because of a court-created loophole. Survivors deserve justice, not legal technicalities. With hundreds of cases at risk, the urgency could not be clearer. I want to thank Chair Lewis and all of my colleagues who have stood firmly with survivors throughout this process. Second, Intro 1049 addresses a very different problem, but one that affects families every day. Gas stations routinely put large pre-authorization holds on debit, credit, and even benefit cards, sometimes for $100 or more. These holds can push accounts into overdraft, or in the case of one family we heard about, cause a benefits card balance to disappear entirely when a hold wasn't released before the end of the month. That is unacceptable. This bill requires gas stations to disclose these holds clearly so people know what to expect before they pay. Both of these bills share the same goal, ensuring New Yorkers are not left unprotected, unheard, or blindsided by systems they cannot control. I'm proud to stand with my colleagues today as we move these important protections forward. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes our stated agenda, and with that, we'll take on topic questions on the items being voted on.
So we all know and to varying degrees trust Dr. Dave and Dr. Katz. Are you being too deferential to the incoming mayor here by delaying these appointments and not just, I mean, especially Dr. Katz, approving somebody who's already on the board? You know, what's the thinking behind this?
Well, Jeff, you know, the qualifications of both of these individuals is not in question at all. Let's just say that. So to be clear, Mayor Adams' administration failed to fill these months-long vacancies until the final 2 months of his term. Despite being advised that the council wanted to defer these appointments to the incoming mayoral administration, the mayor's office submitted them anyway. That's why we're voting them down today. Our decision is not a judgment, once again, of these exceptional individuals. We expect that they should receive due consideration by the next administration. We believe that's fair. These end-of-term moves by Mayor Adams are in bad faith. We've seen them before. A lot of you in this room have seen them before, unfortunately, just like he's tried to meddle with appointments to the Rent Guidelines Board to undermine the incoming mayoral administration. So this falls in line with what this mayor has consistently done, but absolutely has nothing to do with the qualifications of these individuals.
And just to fact check, the mayor's office is saying, look, they wanted to submit these earlier, but you said you wouldn't consider them. Is that accurate? I mean, when did they first talk about reappointing Dr. Katz?
Well, I'm not going to go into the weeds with this, but again, this is a pattern with this administration that we've seen time and time again, and once again, with these appointments, we've seen the same pattern.
Other on-topic questions? Move to off-topic. Hi, Speaker, how are you?
Hi, good to see you.
So this is one of your last pre-stated. I wondered, do you have any regrets about perhaps responding more forcefully to the other side of City Hall? I know specifically there have been instances where the mayor's office has stormed out of or skipped council hearings. Do you wish you had responded more
thank you so much for, number one, noticing, and number two, asking that question. It's such an important question. You know, I don't question the behavior of this council when it comes to unfortunate reaction to the mayoral administration and some of their behavior over the past few years, which I have called out in one particular hearing as displaying obvious contempt for the council. We have acted respectfully to this administration. Someone asked about subpoena power the other day, and I don't believe that that would have been a corrective measure to use with this administration at all. This council has acted with competence and respect to the mayoral administration, all of which we expected in return as well. So no, I don't have any regrets as to the behavior of this council with relation to the administration. I'm very, very pleased with the way that my colleagues have worked professionally and thoroughly with this administration. Hi, Kelly. Good.
My voice is actually better.
Good.
So my question for you is, there's a resolution that's going to be introduced today about pay raises. You know, the city is in an affordability crisis. Do you think that that's an appropriate bill to be introduced right now? And my understanding is it's not actually going to get done in this term. I mean, do you think that this is the right time for that?
Well, thanks for the question, Kelly, and it's a good question. You know, and that's a question for the returning members, of which I am not. So the bill will be introduced today, and it is going to be ongoing, and it is going to be a question that will be answered for those members who are returning next term. It's consistent. What we're doing is consistent with the city charter. The bill can't be voted on this year, but dialogue and input can begin now and continue into the next legislative session. Hi.
My question is, would you support efforts to expand outdoor dining to include roadway dining year-round? And are you concerned that the current system of outdoor dining established by the council has produced far fewer restaurants utilizing the system?
Well, I'll start backwards with the second part of your question first. Legislation that was passed by this council with regard to outdoor dining had to do specifically with conditions that were pre-pandemic, pandemic, and post-pandemic. That is the line that we stuck to. We merely just went back to pre-pandemic let's just say, behavior regulation. That's all we did. Anything going forward is going through the legislative process. That is our pat answer when it comes to legislation, and I can't discuss any of that. I don't want to prejudice that process at all.
And on the first part, would you support efforts to expand outdoor dining to roadway dining year-round?
Well, again, that's a part of a bill that is being looked at through the legislative process, and I'm not going to prejudice, any negotiation on that bill. Thank you, and welcome.
Madam Speaker.
Oh, hi, NJ. I didn't see you back there.
How important is it, in your opinion, your considerable experience in municipal government, that the new administration have a good working relationship with New York's business community? As you know, there's some segments of the business community that were outright hostile toward Mamdani during the campaign. I'm wondering how important that relationship is, and whether you're confident, if you think it's important, that Mamdani and his administration can forge a working relationship with the business community.
I certainly hope so, NJ, and thank you for the question. As we see, in the City Council, partnerships are extremely important to everything that we do. It's important. The business community, of course, is important to the work of the City of New York, and it's a partnership that this council has forged and done, I believe, very, very well. It is my hope that that is a partnership that comes along with the new mayoral administration, and my hope is that those partnerships grow, collaborations grow with the new administration as well as with the new session of City Council.
I understand that is your hope, and I think that's probably the hope of a lot of people, but what's your expectation?
Well, again, my expectation is hope. You know, for me, the two go hand in hand. And thanks for trying to, you know, get that back in there again. And kind of, that was very good. That's a pro right there. That's NJ Burkett, ladies and gentlemen. But NJ, they really do. They go hand in hand for me. Expectation and hope goes hand in hand with me. I mean, it's no secret I'm a woman of faith, and hope is everything to me. So I move forward in projecting that hope and the expectation that goes along in partnership with it.
Well, thank you. I hope you're right.
Thank you.
All right, Jeff. I mean, on the pay raises again, just.
Oh, come on, Jeff.
Well, couldn't you have considered this a long time ago? I mean, aren't you leaving Mamdani and the next council like a huge headache?
You know what? Let me just address that. You said a long time ago. The issue of pay raises across the board should have come to Mayor de Blasio, who should have enacted on it and did not. Came to Mayor Eric Adams as well, should have acted on it and did not. Now for it to come to the council, we are prohibited now by law, where we cannot move on it right now because by law, those two administrations failed to bring that forward. So I don't think, well, you know, all questions are fair. I don't use that expression, it's not fair. But the way that we look at this should be put in the proper perspective that it deserves. And that is the question that we should look at. Why wasn't this done lawfully within the past administrations? Why has it now become an issue for this city council?
And this is Hannah from the Post.
Hi, Hannah.
Is this something you're hoping to see the council pass in the future?
I'm not going to be here. I'm out. It's not a pay raise for me. I'm out. Well, yeah, that's my opinion, Hannah. Respectfully, it is something going forward for, for the new members. It's something for them to work on, them to work out, and for them to see, in the future. Yeah.
Quick question. Yeah, it's very, very short. Yeah. So, after your term ends, do you plan on staying involved in city government in any capacity? Just kind of plans for
Questions about me. Thank you for being for asking questions about me. Thank you. I have absolutely loved the work that I do. It has been an honor of a lifetime to lead this body. You all have heard it way too many times. This historic body of women majority. And most diverse that the city of New York has ever seen. Had I had my way, I'd be doing this a little while longer. But term limits are what they are. I do expect to be involved some kind of way, and connected, of course. This is an institution that I've been a part of for almost a decade. And before that, was, the chair of community board for 3 whole terms. So this is intertwined now in the fabric of who I am. So I fully expect to be involved some kind of way, and we'll figure out what that next great thing is. You got some contacts? I'm all ears. Thanks so much for the questions.
Even the mayor did like a joint